and welcome to Lovella's Coloring. So for this video, I will be sharing with you all how I color a rose. I was asked if I could do a video on it, and I have to apologize to the subscriber who asked because she requested this a couple months ago, but I was so busy that I couldn't find the right time to film it until now. So yeah, so I'm sorry, but this year I'm trying to push through and try to get as much requested videos out. So I will be showing how I color a rose with both markers and colored pencils, and then one with just colored pencils. And we will be coloring in Grazia Salvo's coloring books. The first one is Flowers and Gems. So this one we will be coloring with both marker and pencils. And then we have Loveliness, which is the Women of Flowers collection 2. And this one we will just be coloring in pencils. And the pencils I'm using for both is the Prismacolor Premier and Lemouche for the marker. I will be starting with Flowers and Gems, and if you would like to jump ahead to see how I color a rose in just pencils in the Loveliness coloring book, I'll put the timestamp down below in the video descriptions. And if you are curious as to where these books could be purchased, I'll also provide the links down below. So we'll go ahead and start with Flowers and Gems. So the Flowers and Gems coloring book is a Phoenix Amulet published book, and this can be purchased through Amazon. The illustration we will be coloring in is this one, and I'm just going to be coloring the rose. So I'll color this rose. And to talk to you guys about the paper, it has a rough texture. I've only colored once in this kind of paper from Phoenix Amulet Publishing, and it was a Mardel Rubio illustration. So I liked coloring it, but I colored in that book with Pablo's, which is a harder pencil. I'm going to be using a softer pencil, the Prismacolor Premier, but because I'm coloring with the markers as a base, I think it should be okay. So this is this is not a tutorial, so I'm not going to put that anywhere on the video on the title. I just want to let you know this is just how I would come in and color a rose, because I was asked how I would color it. So yeah, so this is just me showing how I would color a rose, and this is how I would color it with both markers and pencils. So I'll go ahead and zoom into this area. Okay, so we will start with the base for the rose, and the brand I'm using is Lemouche. The color I am using is 4 Vivid Red. And I think any brand from like Sharpies to Caliar to Copic, whichever one you like to use, as long as it's a type of red, you can use it with the same Prismacolor colors I will be using. So this one, I'll show you how it looks like on my chart. So here is what Vivid Red looks like, and I could have used Rose Red, Cherry Pink, or these two deep red and Carmine and Geranium. And yeah, any of those colors, anything close to it should be okay. So I'll go ahead and start coloring this in. I'm gonna color it in with the fine point. Mostly because the lines are it's not like the thick lines that you'd find in, where is it? Sorry, lost my train of thought. In Jade Summer, like Jade Summer books, it's easy to go in with markers and not have to worry so much about the markers bleeding. So I'm just going to outside petal, so in the inside I can just lay it down. And yeah, almost. Don't forget to put a clear, well, I'm using a cutting mat. Almost went through, went on her face a little bit, but not so much. That one I can probably cover up. But yeah, put in a cardstock or a cutting mat. I'm just going to do both. Oh, good thing I remembered. And go back and fill this in. Goodness, could have been bad. And just fill this one in. Right here. So I did plan to color, or not color, but to do this video this past weekend, the Martin Luther King Day weekend. But my daughter came home that weekend since it was a 3-day weekend, and wanted to spend some time with her while she was here. And also she brought home her laundry. So I wish you could see her face when she told me that she brought home laundry, and I was like, well, are you gonna do it? She gives me this like sheepish look. So, but you know, I sound like I may be like griping to her when I'm like, well, you know, you're 18, you should be able to do your own laundry. But it's also nice to feel needed still, even though she's going to be 19 this year. So, yeah. So like I said, you know, this video is not a tutorial. This is just my way of coloring. So you can take from it whatever, you know, and just put it in with the way you color. That's pretty much what I do too. I mean, I watch artist videos and I learn from them, their techniques, but I don't really take a lot from like, you know, like from start to finish. I pick up what they do for layering and I try it and try to do what works for me. So now we have the base done. I think I got a majority of it there. Yeah, and it's not that much, just like a little bit. So the paper is really, whoops, sorry. Paper is really holding well. So I'm gonna leave that there. It feels a little wet. I'm gonna wait till this one dries. Okay, so it just took a second. I had to pause. I charged my phone while I went off and got my dryer and dried this area up. So now it doesn't feel so damp. I don't want to go on top of it while it's wet because it'll probably start like ripping the paper if I go on it while it's wet. So the pencils we'll be using is Deca Pink PC 1014. We have, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this yet, but I pulled it out. It's Scarlet Lake PC 923. Next one is Crimson Red PC 924. I have Crimson Lake PC 925. And this is Black Grape. It's PC 996, so it's short. I will have all these pencils down below in the video description, so just in case you didn't write it down. and you're following along. Usually before I start coloring something like roses or flowers, any kind of flowers, I always look up the type of flower on Google just to see the images, to see how they look like, how the shadows are around the flower. And it does help with anything, or even if you're going to be coloring like her face, just looking up like a model's face and seeing where the shadows are. And it really helps, just like even looking through your garden. If you have roses, they're good inspiration to give you an idea of where the shadows are. And I'm just going to start off with like where my highlights would be. So I'm going to be taking the Deco Pink, which is PC1014, and then I'm just going to pick areas where I think will be lighter, and just lightly going over it, because I don't expect it to stay there, because I'm going to probably most likely go over it with the other color from Prismacolor. Like right over here is probably where I would find. Let me go ahead and turn on the light a little bit more. I don't know if that's enough light. There. And just picking where I think highlights would be. In a way, it's just to help me know where I will place my shadows. So I'm just pretty much like guessing. That's why I'm coloring in lightly, and yeah, it will help me figure out where I'm going to lay my colors, the other colors. Because this is in the outside, I'm just going to assume that it'll be lighter there. And you know, like how it's all wavy and stuff, you can use that to decide how you want to color it. Like if you're going to put creases and stuff on the flower. It's hard to tell sometimes because, you know, like this one has a lot of petals in it, so trying to decide where you'd want the highlight. Trying to go lightly. I don't know what this one is. I think that's the inside. Let's go like this. Okay, so now I'm going to go from light, I'm going to go to my second darkest, which is Crimson Lake, PC925. And I'm going to start off with the farthest one, so just from the inside. So since this is my first time coloring on this type of paper with Prismacolor, I'm going to see how it goes, how it layers at the same time. Go ahead and get the Deco Pink. Just get this area right here. Go on the outside here. hard because the wax is very, the wax from the pencil is very shiny. So all I'm seeing as I'm coloring is the shine. So I'm trying to make sure coloring it right. So next I'm going to come in with Crimson Red. That's PC 924. Just go towards the highlighted area and lightly go over it. Edge here, so lightly go towards the highlighted area. Now I'm going to come in with the Black Grape. That's PC 996. And this is my deepest shadow, so where I feel like the darkest part of that petal. Just going to go in and lay it down. And I'm not pressing hard, I'm just letting the color do the work. I misplaced my brush, so I was trying to look for it because I totally forgot that the Prismacolors are very dusty. I'm back with the Crimson Lake. Just blending the Black Grape that I laid down. And then back with the Crimson Red. And just slowly, I'm leaving a little bit of the pink the deco pink that I laid there. Just lightly going over it, lightly going over it. And yeah, so that's just one petal. So I'm gonna do it again on a couple more, and then we'll fast forward. So again, Crimson Lake. I'm gonna go here from the area that I think is the darkest part. I'm gonna outline the petal a little bit and leave the highlighted portion right over here, so it gives that illusion that it's bending back. Okay, so next is the Crimson Red. I'm going to just slowly go towards the highlighted area, and then from the other side too. And then come in with the Black Grape. And then this is to emphasize the shadows. In here, I'm just going to go in the middle and just like, kind of like a triangle, upside down triangle. Because she put, Grazia Salvo put these little indents. I'm using that as a, like where the wrinkle is, kind of, for this petal. You can make it up for each petal, I think. So like I said, from my viewpoint, it's hard because I'm trying to look around my phone, and because the pencils are waxy, all I'm seeing is like the glare from the light. So I'll look at the screen there. I'm going to come back in with the Crimson Lake and just blend that Black Grape in. There. And then, what is this? Crimson Red. So I didn't even use Scarlet Lake for this one. I'll probably use it for the other book because I'm not going to be using a base. and slowly over the highlighted, just lightly. I still want a hint of it, so there it is. Okay, so those are the outer petals. I'm going to start from the inside now, just to show. And this is Crimson Lake 925. I'm going to do the middle part because I think this part is going to be dark. A little bit of this side. I think this part is the part of the petal that's folded over. I think this is part of the inside of the petal. I'm going to color just like a little bit on the side. I'm going to assume this is another petal because it folds right over here. So I'm going to say that's the top of another petal. And this one right here. Just a little bit on the top part there. Alright, I'm going to come in now with the crimson red. And just going towards the highlighted area that I picked. If you're wondering what sharpener I use for my pencil, it is the Derwent Superpoint manual sharpener. I'll try to remember to add that down below in the video descriptions. And yeah, I really like it because I really like the sharp points. So, that's just how I like my pencils. There's some people like that can use these Prismacolors and they color beautifully with just a blunt tip, and I can't do that. I try, but I just can't. That's just not the way I color. So I always have to have a pointed tip. Okay, so I don't know if it's hard to tell. So now I'm going to come in with the black grape, and I'm going to be coloring in all the shadowed areas. So this black grape really adds depth to the rose when you add it. Some people use black to add shadow, and I've used indigo blue also as a shadow for red. But for this one I decided to go with the black grape. Push that in. So you can just enhance the shadow as much as you want. Just keep adding to it if you feel like it needs more. I'm just going to stop there for now. And now I'm going to come in with the Crimson Lake. Just going over the areas that I colored with the black gray. See, you can only see the glare. If it's because of my lamp. Right there. That's a lot better. I can still see a little bit of glare, but it's not as bad. It's clear. There. So I'm just building up the color until I feel like it's enough. And I think that's good right there. And you can still see areas that I added the highlight in the beginning. So now I'm going to come in with the crimson red. Is that right? No, I just used the crimson red. I'm sorry, got confused. Okay, crimson red. And then this one, I'm going to lightly go over the whole thing. Also the highlight, but I'm going to lightly go over it. See, so it's still there, but I'm trying to blend the colors I already added there. Not totally take it away there. Yeah, so that's how the inside portion's gonna be. So let me go ahead and speed up. So this is how it looks like from afar. I hope you guys like how it looks. So yeah, so this is how I would color this page, this rose, using markers and colored pencils, the Prismacolor colored pencils. So now I'm going to go and bring out the other book. So the book I'm going to be using just the colored pencils is in Grazia Salvo's Loveliness. This is the Women of Flowers collection 2, and the page I will be coloring in is this one. So I'm going to be coloring this rose. So there's many reasons why I picked this one besides this rose. There's this image right over here where it's kind of like transparent clothing that she's wearing. So I'm going to do another video showing how I do transparent clothes, because that was one of the requests also. So I thought I'd go ahead and pick this page with this kind of rose. And so after I do this video showing the transparent clothing, I can just finish up this page. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and zoom up to this flower right over here. Okay, so for this page, this book by Grazia Salvo, the paper is smoother compared to the Flowers and Gems coloring book. So I haven't even colored in her books of this collection, so I'm not sure how the paper is going to be with the Prismacolor. I'm not sure if I'm going to end up burnishing or if I'm going to need to blend, so we'll all see together. But yeah, so this is just me showing how I would color the rose, and yes, and what I would do. So I will use the same colors, which is Black Grape 996. I will be using Crimson, what color is this again? But this is PC 925. This is Crimson Lake. I'm going to be using Crimson Red, PC 924. I'm also going to be using Scarlet Lake, PC 923. And I may come in with the Deco Pink, PC 1014. So what I would usually do, if I'm not going to be using markers and just pens, I would usually color over the flower, and I'm going to use the Scarlet Lake PC 923 for it. So I'm just going to color, just lightly color over the whole thing. So I didn't practice on this paper or anything like that. I'm just coming in and thought it would be best for you guys to see how I would just, whatever problems I might run into, we'll see how we're gonna go ahead. So I'm just gonna pick, after I color this, I'm gonna pick a petal to color, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I colored a light layer of Scarlet Lake PC 923. Now I think, even though it's smooth, you can see that you can leave a little bit. Now I'm just gonna go with 925 as just Crimson Lake. I'm gonna pick this one right here and just go in. Kind of color it almost the same way as I did with if I laid markers down, but it's not going to be as fast or as vibrant. So I'm doing light layers. And her outline, her illustration over here is more sketchy, a lot more sketchy and thinner lines compared to the other book. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to come in with the crimson red. Just kind of over the Crimson Lake. I'm thinking that after I color a couple more petals, it will go faster. I figure out how the pencils will lay and in what order I would go. So this is crimson red. So now I'm going to come in with the black grape 996. And just color it in the darkest areas that I think would be on this petal. Okay. Come back in with the Crimson Lake. Sorry. When the name's not even on there anymore, I have to figure out, try to remember the name. So I'm coming in a little harder, medium, just coloring over the black grape. Come in with the crimson red and just keep going in. Not sure if I like how it looks. And then with the Scarlet Lake over the whole thing and a little bit over the the areas I left white. Yeah, I'm not sure if I like how the paper is with the Prismacolors. The Deco Pink and just go over the whole thing. Just gonna burnish it in to smooth it out. Now, but I want to add more color to it, so I'm coming in with the Crimson Lake and just giving it a little bit more color. Especially around here, it's like going into the hair already, so just going to come in with the dark or the black grape. See if I can because I already burnished it, I'm just lightly trying to stick in some color. Especially where right here where I think it should be dark. I think I just have to define it with the black grape. There. There we go. It was kind of glary earlier, so let me come into Crimson Lake and just brighten up the. I'm just streaking down. Okay, so let me go ahead and do the next one. Again, the line is very light, and trying to define where the petal starts. I'm just going to pick this one. Just so I can see where it's at, right here. This petal is like kind of jaggedy, wavy. So I'm trying to decide if I should create like little shadows for where it's wavy. So the one that goes up is the one with the shadow. Doesn't look like it now, but that's what I'm trying to achieve. So next one is Crimson Red. Here. So I'm just gonna try to leave areas where the highlighted part of the petal. I'm gonna use the black grape to add in where I think the shadows are going to be. It's like I don't know if it's on focus on. It's on focusing on my hands. Let me go ahead and move this there. Okay. Sorry if it was blurry. Didn't realize it was going out of focus. Hopefully it's not. Okay, so sorry I'm like quiet. I'm just trying to figure this out. It's like a puzzle, you know, how I go about coloring it. If I'm just gonna have to do the same steps over and over again to color each petal. This is the Crimson Red. I'm just starting to get into the highlighted areas to start blending these colors in. And Is that crimson red? Here. I was using Crimson Lake. This is Crimson Red. Then Crimson Lake I'm just going to go over it lightly. Then same thing as before, I'm going to come in with the Deco Pink, and I'm going to go up and down. Just it's like a medium pressure with the pencil. I am trying to take out all the white spots, so you can see it really lightened it up, but it blended it together. And then I'm going to come back again on top and give it more color. Some shadow on the top right here. Sorry, I was checking the screen to make sure I'm not like getting blurred out. Just trying to put enough color down so that see it. It looks darker on when I look at the page, but it looks lighter when I look through the screen. So Crimson Red, come in. So I'm coming in now with the grape. Again, I'm going to emphasize where my shaded part of the petal is. So I don't know, how do you guys think it looks? Because, you know, this is, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly, but this is how I would jump in and color this page. And yeah, it's taking a lot of layers, but you know, you don't know how it's going to look like until it is done. So I'm just gonna keep going with it. There we go. So I'll go ahead and fast forward and try to finish the rest of this, and then yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have to apologize. I know I had like a couple more petals to do, but I had to go and pick up my son from the school. He had safety patrols, so he stayed longer than normal. So yeah, so when I got back home, I went ahead and finished it up because my phone was like dying by the time I had to leave. So yeah, so you pretty much got the idea of when I use pencils, when I'm not familiar with the paper, and I pretty much do it anyways for any books, is where I put a light layer down, and when you see how it looks like, especially with the Prismacolor, I like to burnish it in a little bit and then go back and relayer it to brighten up the colors, and especially brighten up the shade, like with this one was with the black grape. And yeah, so I hope you like how it looks and kind of understand like the process I go through when coloring roses, and especially with just the pencils, and then with the markers. Let me go ahead and bring the other one out. So let's see it right here. So even though, oops, sorry. So this is how they look like. This is a little bit darker than this one, but same pencils used, same shades. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I explained myself okay. I'm not sure, but if you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them down below in the comments, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. I do plan to do another video. It's also a requested video of how I color like transparent clothes. It was asked during one of my videos. I believe it's the completed Tanya Bond Astra Inklings coloring book, and they asked if I can show how I do like transparent clothing. So I thought this page would be a good one to use, where I will show how I color transparent clothing. And also along with this, in the same video, I'm most likely going to finish up this page, because it's pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to do the opposite, where this one I'm just going to use pencils to explain, and on this one I'm going to color her skin in with markers and then show you my process of coloring on top of it. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy again, and I thank you for watching how I colored these roses. So until next time, please take care and happy colorings. Bye bye.